All right. So, this is a session just for you guys, right? No teachers, no one else. And the cool thing is we have my favorite alums right here, right? So each of them will tell you a little bit about themselves. So while you eat, listen to them tell you a little bit about what they do and when they finish their education. So we'll just have you just do a quick intro on your own, and then I'll open it up for questions. And remember, ask for the mic. The gentleman there and me will just give you the mic because we are broadcasting it on Google Hangouts. Okay? All right? Yes? So what did you guys do today? Did you have fun today? Yeah?
Hello.
What was the LED drive? What was today? I forgot what was today. Oh, innovation and bioinformatics. So how did you like innovation? Yeah? What did you like about it? Go ahead. It was like Shark Tank. Okay, cool. Cassie, it's a Shark Tank, huh? And bioinformatics. What did you like about bioinformatics? It was a lot of fun? Yeah. What did you like about it?
Extracting the DNA from the strawberry was a lot of fun.
Extracting the DNA from the strawberry. Cool. See? So you get lots of fun just coming here for a few days, okay? But all right, so now every student here has to ask one question, right? That'll be 40 questions. So we'll be done, right? All right, let me have the panelists introduce themselves, and then we'll go from there. So Shauna.
Okay, tell me what I'm supposed to say again.
Tell us a little bit about what you did at UNO,
Okay.
and then what you're doing now.
Okay. So I am the oldest person on this panel. I'm okay with telling you that. It's okay. It is what it is. I know they're coming in. That's okay. So I graduated from UNO with an undergrad in MIS in 2003, and then with a master's in MIS in 2010. And currently I run a company that teaches people how to code. We do 10 to 15 week boot camps. So that's what we do.
Hello again to the bioinformatics people. If you weren't in the bioinformatics session, you missed out. No, I'm just kidding. My name is Kate Cooper. I am a bioinformatics alum, so I actually came into the bioinformatics program and graduated in December 2007. And then I went on to get my PhD at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in pathology and microbiology. And then I came back to UNO, and I am now a assistant professor in the School of Interdisciplinary Informatics. So what did I miss? Anything?
I don't think I can tell them my name. Oh. I'm Shauna Dorsey, by the way. Sorry, forgot that part.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Hawa Muibi, and I got my master's in MIS from UNO last May 2015, and I did a concentration in data management. Right now, I am an ETL developer at Union Pacific, just downtown, and I've been there for 8 months. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Peterson. I graduated from the IT Innovation Program, the one and only of my class, 3.5 years ago. Also got a degree in computer science, so I was a dual degree. I've been at Client Resources, or CRI, ever since then. You might have met the president, Sue Thaden. The team I'm on is a mobile app development team. So I started doing development, and I've moved into a business analyst role, which kind of translates the requirements that the client needs into our documentation for development. Wear a lot of hats and have a lot of fun.
I don't know if, Hi, my name's Pam. My education started at Marion. I don't know if we have any Marion girls here, but then I did my undergrad at Lincoln in computer science and graduated in 2004. And I came to UNO and got my master's in computer science 2008, and I have not left. I work part-time here as a teaching assistant. I work full-time as a developer. I worked for the government for 7 years, and I just switched over to a startup company called D3 Banking, which is just crazy. So, but it's fun.
Hi, everybody. My name is Angela Molini. I too went to Marion, and then I went to UNO and graduated in 2014 with computer science and information assurance. Since then, I worked at a company called Interpublic Group. They're a global company, but their main IT branch is in Omaha, just down the street at the Scott Technology Center. I started as a business analyst for our human resources information system, and I recently just transferred to an associate project manager role that I've been in for a month. So it's been really crazy as well so far, but good.
Hi, I'm Rachel Ostrander. I work for Complete Nutrition as a software engineer. I am the sole developer there. So I build our reporting sites, our external websites for contests that we build, and our customer resource management tool. It's a lot of fun. I actually enjoy it way more than I thought I would. I graduated from UNO in 2015, so that was only, I guess that was about 9 months ago. And I've actually worked at Complete Nutrition for about 2 years now. I started as an intern and they kept me on, so.
Since some of you mentioned your undergraduate, which city or town you're from and where you went to high school, might be good to mention that because there may be kids from there. So.
I'm from Western Nebraska, all the way over by Wyoming, actually.
She's from Western. Where are you from?
Where?
I'm from Fairbury, but I go to school with Western.
All the way like over by Wyoming type Western, not Western City, sorry. I grew up on a ranch out there and I was actually homeschooled until I came here.
I went to Marion.
I also went to
Marion.
Omaha North.
Well, I don't think I see anybody from where I'm from. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. That's a country in Western Africa. And I did my high school in Nigeria, and then I came to the US, Ohio, for undergrad, then came to UNO for my master's.
Scott? No, Scott? Oh, all right.
Omaha North as well.
Any Omaha North kids? No?
McMillan too. Me too. How about that?
All right. So, any questions? Yeah.
Oh, yes, probably for you.
What made you guys go into your career? Like, what made you decide that? Yes.
So I started programming actually in high school, and I just really, really enjoyed like doing homework that was, you could see it produce a solution. I also liked, I did like the journalism website, and it's still out there. Like, that's kind of cool. That things I did in high school, and it was so new at that time. Like, not many people were making websites at that time. So, and it's still like archived. I can go Google myself on the internet, and there's all my website. Just so that's kind of cool.
I wanted to I liked looking at health and diseases and that sort of thing, but I did not want to be a doctor because I couldn't stand blood and I can't do the hours. So this affords me to be able to do interesting things without having to deal with blood.
I actually came to UNO thinking I would major in graphic design. So I went and toured the fine art building. And one of the art professors actually said, "You sound like you would be better suited to work in technology." And I had a laptop, which was about the most technology experience I had ever had. I had never seen what programming was. I had never even seen HTML. I had utterly no idea when I walked in the front door of PKI. In fact, one of the ladies up front said, "You look like you should be in the art building." But I stayed here anyway. And I went through 4 years of learning how to do technology things from complete scratch. So I came here by accident, but it was a good accident.
So in high school, which are Marion girls, they had one computer science class, and it was like extreme. It was like programming light, it was like HTML, JavaScript, that kind of stuff. But I took that class. There were only a few of us in the class, and I really, really liked it. Also at Marion, I had an opportunity to work there over the summer, like in the wiring closets, with making sure all the IP addresses for all the computer labs were set up correctly, and helping students and teachers, with their technology problems. So that's kind of what got me into it.
So I'm on my I don't know what career at this point, but I found that when I was in undergraduate school, the thing that I liked the most is working with people. I appreciated programming, but never wanted to be a programmer. I still am not one, but I'm still involved in technology. So my current company Interface, we're able to connect with people, help them find jobs, work with nonprofits and all of that. So it's like bridging community and tech together, which is awesome, without running a nonprofit. So that's kind of cool.
I think Shauna didn't mention that she is one of the co-founders of that company. So, that's part of it.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I kind of stumbled into computer science. So growing up, I was pretty good at math and I spent a lot of time on my computer. I played a lot of games and I was just always online. And going into college, I never considered it a career yet. So I went undeclared as a major for my first year before I really sat down and thought, what's an industry I want to go into that has a lot of job opportunities? And I was like, oh, duh, I love computers. So computer science was my major of choice at first. And then the IT innovation program came along and it just spoke to me. It was so much fun and so interesting and engaging and can just open your eyes to the power of technology and where it can go. So that was pretty inspiring and never looked back.
So I started off with engineering IT primarily because it looked very interesting, but I didn't know specifically what I wanted to do in it because it was so big and so broad. There was so many things you could do. You would meet teachers that tell you they code for a living, teachers that tell you they gather requirements for a living. So it's a very broad field, and really meeting people and finding mentors that were studying engineering IT to see, the kind of advice they had for me really helped me look for what I wanted to do within IT because it's so easy to get lost in it. There's so many, even within, for example, data management itself, there are so many kind of hierarchical subordinate things that are underneath it that you have to find. So for me, I just stumbled upon what I wanted to do in the field of IT.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Being a woman, have you experienced any advantages or disadvantages working in IT?
Here at UNO, they're really, really, really good. It's really awesome to be a woman here. I know, but for example, when in one of my math classes, in one of my first years when I was doing programming, I was talking to a guy in the math class about programming. He's like, well, women don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. So I've run into those things, but particularly here at my company, I guess, the environment, they've worked really, really hard to make it an accepting environment. I think that, I don't know if that's the exception or the rule, because I've been here for a while, but maybe the other girls could speak to that.
I think I found one very awesome positive thing about it is when you're the only girl in class, you sort of become like the project manager. So if you like to tell people what to do, IT is awesome because you end up being the only person, the only girl in class, and you end up kind of telling, okay, you're going to be a coder, you're going to be a assistant coder, you're going to be a meeting minutes collector. So it really puts you in a kind of CEO level job. So yeah.
I would say one of the advantages, one of the disadvantages, I suppose, is sometimes you do find yourself being the only woman in the room. I'm on a team right now. We fluctuate around about a dozen of us, and oftentimes I'll be the only woman on a project. And you do end up, if you like to organize and run things, it's a great role to be in. But one of the advantages I've found is that there's a great network of women out there in technology to talk to and to lean on and to reach out to advice for. There's many organizations like Grace Hopper, Sisters, SYS. There's a lot of women out there, and we do a good job at supporting each other.
I said this one last year, but one of the advantages is clean bathrooms. You're the only one who has to use them. But another advantage is you do stick out. You're kind of the unique person in the room, and people want to hear your opinion, and that's nice. Disadvantages are, I feel like sometimes people don't know how to make jokes with you and things get a little awkward, but that can happen anywhere, so.
I agree. I agree with all of that. It's like, when you're the only woman, you stick out, everybody knows who you are, and that can kind of be a good way for you to forge your own path within IT, in college, and then if you go on, further academia or in the industry. At my company, we have like really good, like you were saying, you didn't know if that would be the exception to the rule, but at least at my company we have really good like diversity and inclusion. There are a bunch of groups within my company for like LGBT women, like Women Leadership Network, all that kind of stuff. So if you can kind of find your path, find a good school to go to, UNO, a good company, then there shouldn't you shouldn't see too many of the disadvantages, hopefully.
I can't say that I've experienced any disadvantage from it. I went to UNO, and I don't feel like anyone ever made a comment about it or anything. Usually I was the only female in the class, and I was always the project manager for every project. So there is that, whether you like that or not. You stick out just because you're different. That's neither here nor there. It also helps if you're 6 feet tall. That's kind of a positive and a negative, but.
Oh, I didn't answer it yet. I know, tell me about it. I would say, you can look at me and see that I'm an African-American woman, right? And so like when we think about how just being different in a room, I'm usually like the only one like me everywhere, right? In tech anyway. So that has been good and bad. I think people sometimes, not good and bad, but I'll say there's some pros and cons. Pros are, it's good to be the only one and then have a voice that can represent people who aren't at the table, right? That's a great thing. On the downside is I think that sometimes people underestimate me, but that's also a positive thing because then the bar is really low, which I think is awesome. Because then I can like achieve, and it's great. It's great stuff. But as I've been in the field not in field, but as an entrepreneur for a couple of years now, the pressure's getting there. It's growing and all of that. But I'm getting long-winded and not making sense. I'll stop.
You're good. All right, who else has a question? Yeah?
Okay, have you found yourself kind of acting like you're not acting like yourself? And if you have caught yourself, how do you kind of give yourself confidence to act like yourself around your workplace?
I'll start with that one. So I know during my first year running this company, I felt like I had to please everybody and be like the most well-liked and all of that stuff. And for me, what I started to do is give myself little milestones and little achievements here and there. So as I built up my confidence in what I could actually do and build up my network of people that would vouch for me and all of that stuff. And that helped me to develop my confidence and then just kind of be more authentic. So I remember when we first started this company, we did a little photo shoot, and it is hilarious. If I had that picture, I think you would laugh because I think it's funny. And now, like when someone asks me for a bio photo, I send them a selfie, like my favorite one. And I'm just like, that's what it is. I like these selfies. But it's just nice to be comfortable in your own skin and know what you bring to the table and respect others, all of that, but just really value yourself.
I remember reading this article before, sometime in college, where they say like to be a successful woman in a man's field, like you often dress like them, like wear, black pants and a black suit just so you fit in. And I was like, I am not doing that. I refuse to. I mean, there's dress codes, but I would always make sure to wear like hot pink with it, just to be clear that I am not going to that standard. So you do kind of fall into that, but you just make your own way out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, you have to know yourself through everything. And I think that college is it's a very like trying time. You'll have like struggles with school, struggles with life, and your confidence can get to a low point. But, it's like so much easier said than done, of course, but you gotta have like that faith in yourself. And also if you can build, a community around you or join a community around you, I think that is so, so important. Like when I was at UNO, it was when we first kind of started, the women in IT. I see Cassie over there. We were in the Lean In circle together after the conference, and it was just so nice to sit down with other girls in the field, and you could talk about like, oh, hey, we're in different classes, but have you had this teacher? It's just like, it was just so nice. It was so nice to be able to like, have a camaraderie with people. So if you can find that, I think that that's a huge, huge thing as well.
I don't know that I've ever struggled with confidence in who I myself am, certainly in my ability to do my work or to meet the requirements that were set on me. But I never really felt compelled to change to the people around me. We also have a dress code at work, but I kind of use being in the IT department as an excuse to not always obey that dress code occasionally, and it's always gone just fine for me. But one of the things I do to keep my confidence up in my ability to work is I keep a wall of successes. So every time that I face a problem in programming that is, I think I can't do this, or I have no idea where to start, I work on it, and then once I find the solution, and I always have up until this point, eventually, even if it took months, I print out that bit of code or something that represents that challenge, and I put it on my wall with a date, and I write success on it. And I have a huge wall now. And actually, every time I come to one of those problems, I look at that wall, and that represents years of hard things that I didn't think I could do that I accomplished.
I just want to, I wanted to say that when I first started at my job, I noticed that everybody golfed, and I mean, being a woman, I was pretty much maybe one of the only women in most of the groups that I found myself working in. So I started to deceive myself that I found golf interesting. So I would, maybe look up what happened last weekend and stuff. And then it got to a point and I was just like, okay, this isn't interesting to me. So I'm just going to stick to my football, which is soccer, just stick to it. And then I found somebody who actually watches soccer. So now I have someone to discuss soccer with, so I don't need to follow golf anymore.
Something that's been great for me in the workplace is kind of touching on the having good relationships in a lean-in circle, is having somebody in your environment that you can lean in and go to with problems. So if a situation comes up, which they're bound to happen, and you want to check how you should approach it, or what are some different tactics you could use, what kind of language you should use, what you should do to just solve that solution or solve the problem. Mentees, having a mentor has been key in that. It's just to have somebody to go to, talk it out, that you can trust, that can give you some honest feedback and help you grow and figure it out.
All right, another question. All right, I'll go down the row like that.
Okay, did you start out with a different career, or what do you think your alternate career would have been if you had not been in the career you're in now?
So for some reason, I thought I was going to be a doctor, and I'm not even good at science, so that just didn't work out. So I thought doctor, pharmacist, jewelry maker, programmer. I told you I don't like programming. Project manager is really where I landed, and it's something that I ended up doing all the time, but didn't realize that it was a job that you could have. So anyhow, I had lots of different stops along the way.
I'm one of those people who follows instructions really well. So people like me as almost as like a worker. So I can, we can put you in charge and we think you're going to be responsible. So, other interests that I had were, running, cooking, that sort of thing. So I think I would have excelled in other areas as well. But with IT, I get to use my creativity, which is an area that I'm not sure that I would have been able to utilize in other areas I would have taken. So I think that, attitude, and I guess the point is that the attitude of I'm going to show up and that's what took me, what allowed me to be successful. But really anything you're interested in probably also has an IT component. I mean, some of the IT innovation people that we're seeing, the students that we're seeing now, the ideas that they have are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So
I think what I would have ended up doing was I like working with people a lot, so I probably would have found something that still made me have to communicate with people on a daily basis. And I'm not sure if there's a post for that, maybe like a manager for something. Oh, manager that manages IT people, something like that.
I really wasn't sure for a long time what I wanted to do. I didn't really see myself in any kind of predefined role anywhere. But I always liked organizing things, getting things done, kind of seeing things in action and seeing the results. And so once I saw that you can accomplish all that really well in a ton of different technology roles, it just made sense for me.
I grew up on a cattle ranch, like I said, so actually I grew up assuming that I would be a ranch wife and I would work with cattle, and I still may do that, actually. But I do a ton of stuff, everything from artwork. I do video game artwork. I make leather goods like purses and Comic-Con costumes, and there's a lot of things that I would love to do in my life, so we'll see where it goes. On my current path, I think that I would like to be a fine artist again someday. I really love my IT job, but I really, really like making things with my hands, which is something that I miss in IT, is you make things, but they are still digital. You can't really hold them. So maybe art someday.
When I was little, I wanted to be a detective, like, so badly. I don't even know if you guys know who Nancy Drew is, or if that's like way before. Yeah, she was like girl crush right there. I just didn't realize that at the time. But yeah, so I wanted to be like a detective or like an FBI agent, something like really cool like that. And, or like, and then as I got into high school, I was like, okay, well, let's think practically, maybe like a pharmacist or, something like a respectable job. And then I kind of like stumbled into IT.
I was pretty much set on being a computer science person, so.
All right, other questions?
Do you have any lifetime goals that you want to accomplish with technology?
I guess I see myself kind of moving into more of a management or C-level executive kind of role where you are looking at the vision, the long-term vision of a product or a team or a company, and you have the power to make a lot of change and come up with some great ideas.
Like I said, I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, so there is room for improvement in IT, for the IT industry in my country. So I don't specifically know what I want to bring, the lasting impression I want to make, but I know that I want to make something that would have a lifetime value in IT for my country.
I think that I would like to end up usually using it to help people. The whole reason I got into bioinformatics, in addition to being interested in being a doctor, is family history of cancer and this sort of thing. So anything that I come up with that can eventually help prevent, treat whatever disease and make people have better lives and that sort of thing would be considered a success for me. But it's not possible without being interdisciplinary and working with other people as well. So I got to lean on the shoulders of, or stand on the shoulders of giants to do that as well.
So I never thought I would start a company ever, so I did that, and that's fun. I think the next time, though, there will be another one, but I want to start a company on my own. So I've got 5 co-founders. They're super supportive, but at some point I'll start my own company. But ultimately, my most important thing for me to do in this life is to empower people through technology, because there's so many opportunities, and it's just incredible what you can do, and you don't have to be a programmer to be in tech. That's one thing I would leave this group with.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I don't know what like my overall goal for my whole entire life would be, but I agree, empowering people, like doing these things, like just trying to get the word out, to as many people as possible, the amazing things that you can do with technology, like curing cancer, discovering, something, writing a program, or even, if like in my job as a project manager, it's, my goal is to just like make everybody's life easier, and if I'm making someone's life easier, on any given day at work, like I consider that a success, and, just, try to build that up, I guess, over time.
My capstone project for my IT innovation degree was called Moo Manager. It was for managing cattle with software that kind of mirrored human resources software. So every cow existed as an entity, and then you could interact and place those cows into groups like herds and record their medical history, and then make predictions potentially about how you could breed them to achieve optimal results. And I did not finish all of those features. When I moved back to a ranch, I would really like to fully build out that software, because there's a lot of technology that exists for farms in a variety of ways. Like you can even tell how much water is in the soil per square inch as you're driving over the top of it. That doesn't exist at the same level with ranching. So that's my goal with technology.
All right, next question. Oh God, I saw you earlier.
What would be some advice you would give to young girls interested in pursuing a career in IT?
Get okay with failure, and that tech is super hard, okay? It just is. But it's also very rewarding. But I think that if you can get okay with messing up, that is one of the things that I would stress.
Don't let anybody tell you how to run your show. When I first did a mock interview like 10 years ago, in not in this building, but with an IT person, and my hair was big at the time, and it was like poofy, and she said, you need to get that under control and maybe, put some effort into your wardrobe. And I was like, I'm going to continue wearing a black shirt and gray pants or whatever. And that's what I do. I have 5 black shirts and 5 pairs of gray pants, and I pull my hair in a ponytail, and that's what I do. And it's never served me wrong, I don't think. So don't let anybody tell you how to run your show.
I think a good thing is to look for a mentor, somebody that you admire and that's in the field of IT, regardless of the field they are in. Just really get to talk to that person and get to live vicariously through that person, their struggles, their successes, and that will definitely pave a way for you.
I would recommend branching out. Don't be scared to experience, to make new relationships, and take on any opportunities that you can get your hands on. I mean, you're doing a great job here already, but there's going to be so many opportunities. Just got to look for them, and don't be scared to take the risk.
So I've always been really successful at things that I enjoy. So you have to figure out how to make these things fun. And I write banking software right now. And I was doing something the other day where I got a call to work where a PDF downloaded, and I was so excited. I'm like, I've never been so excited to see a PDF download in my life. But so you just have to, like enjoy it, because you did do that and it is cool. So that always makes me successful.
I agree with all of that. And also, like, first of all, just go for it. And second of all, when you're in college and like going through, your classes and stuff, I would say like, don't rush it, because when you bite off, also like me, when you bite off more than you can chew, you're forced to accept failure, instead of just being okay with it. And then if it happens, it happens. But, so I was so I got 2 degrees in 4 years, and I was so obsessed with getting done in those 4 years. And so I would say like, live while you're in college, don't be like so hard on yourself. Don't bite off more than you can chew, and, enjoy the ride overall.
I would say on a very practical level, bug your professors to death. If you don't know, just go to their office. I had some professors who were actually like hiding from me, but I did very well in all of their classes I didn't think I could do, actually. I would say get an internship as soon as possible, regardless of whether it pays, and IT internships almost always pay. A lot of them don't expect you to know anything. And that is where you learn everything. Everything from business, everything to actual details of programming in the real world, which will help you immensely. And in your interviews, seriously be confident. Just, I think of interviews as if I'm interviewing them, and that makes me much more confident. Like, do I want to work for you? Please tell me why I should work for you. And that gives you a much better perspective than them asking you a billion questions. Then you feel like you have a little bit more power.
I know this isn't about me at all, but I want to echo that. My last job I had, I had a nightmare the other night about my old boss. So it's 3 years later, and he lives in California. But like, yeah, you're interviewing them. It's your life too. And I don't think anyone told me that. Like, you get a say in if you take a job or not. So, all right, I have time for one more question. Girlfriend in the orange.
I know this is kind of like small, but what exactly is like project manager and stuff? Like, what do they do? What's their main job?
Hey. So project management, to me, it's awesome. I just nerd out about project management, and I kind of fell into it, with like our capstone project for computer science. You get into your groups, and then someone kind of like emerges, I guess, as the leader, basically the person who's going to organize everything, keep everybody on track. And so what that means from like a business perspective, so what I would do is work with, so say, a business client comes to you and says, hey, I want this software to be available, on this website. So I would say, okay, let me, write up the requirements for that and kind of organize, get in touch with the right people, who would be actually doing the development on it, keep everything on track, make sure that, everything is getting tested properly, make sure everything is getting trained, like the people using the software are getting trained, and just kind of like being an overseer of, something happening in the system. So I would say you kind of have to know everything about the project, I guess I would say. You have to know the technical side of it. You have to know you're not going to be doing the development, but you have to know exactly what questions you need to be asking the developers. You need to know how to understand their responses. And then also on the people side, you have to make sure, you have to manage all the different personalities and make sure everything, stays under control. Somebody told me project management is like herding cats sometimes, like with all the different people, and it's true, but yeah.
That's true. And you're ultimately responsible for the success or failure of the project. I'm like Debbie Downer down here, right? But you are ultimately responsible for that product or process or whatever it is that is changing with that project. So that's like risks, budgets, people, resources, people, everything. So, but it's super rewarding to see a project that you started, finish, and then learn some lessons and start new ones. So.
Also, if you're interested in project management, when you're looking for maybe an internship, something like a business analyst could give you a very good introduction to what a project manager does, because at some point the business analyst and the project manager kind of does almost similar things in that they have to understand what the requirements for that project is or that process or product.
Tester too, especially intern level, it's probably tester.
Oh, a tester, okay. Tester internship.
One last. Oh, there you go. You got two hands.
What's your favorite thing about IT?
Quick answer.
You can wear jeans.
You can work from home if you have a work laptop.
Almost nobody else understands what you do, so you can kind of do whatever you want.
Like a mechanic, same thing.
Okay, one more.
What made you want to come to UNO to pursue an IT?
It was an accident.
I love UNO. I was from Omaha, and I was so excited to come back. I just like how there's the big companies here, and that's what made me want to come to UNO over Lincoln, which was the big school when I was leaving high school. So I like it, Omaha.
I came from Ohio after doing my undergrad, and I came here, and I don't want to talk down on Ohio, but in Omaha, people are very nice, and at UNO specifically. And I was looking for MIS, and I read all the curriculum they have here, and just the IT IT communities that they have at the school is so broad and so big. And at UNO, you don't feel like a number. You know, your professor actually cares what your plan for graduating is and what your plan after getting the degree is. So you don't feel like a number. It's big, but not overwhelmingly big to where you don't, you know, you feel like you matter, you know.
My answer actually serves that question in the previous question. UNO is great, and I was excited to come here, but if you're interested in IT and you're a woman, the money will flow for you. So the money is the answer to both those previous questions. People want to help. We need people in IT, and also we want to make sure women and minorities are represented at the table. It helps diversity and it helps productivity. So that's money is my answer.
And there's nothing wrong with making good money, so that's all I'll say.
Anyone else? Last thought? All right. Let's give them a big round of applause.